coming up with a flyweight bout at 125 pounds, we have Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Cody Durden. Ulanbekov sitting around that minus 175 range. Well, we've got Cody Durden. His best price available right now is plus 150, but a lot of markets will have him around plus 145 to plus 140. Ulanbekov has 2 losses. One is to our guy, the legend, Zhalgas Zhumagulov, and another loss is to Tim Elliott, who completely clowned on Tagir. You and I watched that fight together, actually, way back when. And Tagir was around a minus 235 favorite at the time. I found both of those to be quite interesting. The Zhalgas fight, of course, not in the UFC. The Tim Elliott one was, and Tagir had a lot of hype going into that one. And for me, it's where I find it to be interesting with Tagir's game is he continues to get dropped by guys who are able to find that chink in his armor and break through into some gap or window for him. For Cody Durden, I feel like he has that opportunity, but for me, his advantage that he has in cardio is not necessarily going to be one that Tagir is able to, like, he's going to be able to take advantage of with Tagir. Sorry, I kind of lost my words there. The other piece with Tagir that I'm really worried about with this one, Rick, is that we're going to put out this podcast and then something's going to happen with Tagir because he has 6 withdrawals since joining the UFC in 2020. So even though he is one of the boys in Khabib's squad, the Khabib and Islam crew, I love watching those guys, especially on social media. It's very funny to watch them interact. But I don't really think he stacks up as well to some of these guys where you're just used to them being an absolute steamroller rolling through these guys in their division. Cody Durden could be another one of those tests that kind of humbles him.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me a lot of that Tim Elliott fight. And the odds are a little bit closer, and that almost seems like an adjustment from the old Tim Elliott fight to say, hey, we're not going to give him that dominant odds, even though he came back and standing guillotined Nate Maness in the first round of his last fight. There are enough question marks now with Ulanbekov. He is not that uber prospect that everyone sort of thought he was coming in, where his grappling is Khabib-esque, even though he trains with Khabib and all those guys. And it is very good. His offensive wrestling is very good. And he's highly skilled. His striking has continued to be more and more effective, but it's weird. I mean, he's 32 now. He's only got 3 or 4 fights in the UFC and only 3 fights now in the past 3 years. He's sort of wasting his prime. I say wasting. It's not like he's intentionally doing it, but withdrawing from fights due to injury. And I'm curious to see if his striking has taken levels because you didn't really see it in that Nate Maness fight. And it's been basically 2 years since that Elliott fight. So you got to figure that that's really been what he's been working on. But for Cody Durden, I mean, it's going to be the same old, same old. And I love Cody Durden. I love and hate Cody Durden. I love Cody Durden for so many things. The only thing I hate him for is that sometimes he's just so corny. Like the entire fight, you're cheering him on because he's a dog. And then afterwards he gets on the mic and you're like, I was just telling everybody how cool this guy is. And now he's lame. But like Cody Durden in the octagon is not someone I want to come up against because his wrestling is top tier. And as is Ulanbekov. So I don't think those will cancel each other out. I think that probably neither will want to go for it because Ulanbekov is, while he has 0 knockouts, is happy to stay on the feet and rip his 1-2s at range. He's a little awkward, but it works. And Cody Durden can do damage in his own right. He's got great elbows, which I love from range, where he's able to throw it and be able to really implement a lot of different attacks, including kicks to the body and legs, not as much the head. But he's impressive, and he's got cardio to boot. So he's going to be able to give Ulanbekov that test for as long as he wants to. I think Ulanbekov could probably dance around the outside and be able to dance to a win, pepper him a little bit. But I think that Cody Durden's probably going to push him. And that's why I like the dog in this fight. I think this is a live dog. I think Ulanbekov is not Khabib. Everyone wants to put him as Khabib. He's got the name from that area and everything, but 14-2 feels like a little bit of a fraudulent record, and Cody Durden's on quite the run now. He's won 4 in a row. The names, again, aren't the sexiest of names, but his only 2 losses were Muhammad Makayev and Jimmy Flick, which happens. But, I mean, he's knocked out JP Buys, then he's beaten Carlos Mota, Charles Johnson, and Jake Hadley all by decision his last 3 fights. I think he keeps it rolling. I think he keeps it rolling. What about you?
I picked Tagir because I have to pick a fight one way or the other. That is part of the program here. But I do see what you're saying about Durden, where I think that he can beat Ulanbekov if he hits him because he's going to hit him hard and defends the takedown. He can potentially dominate on the ground in his game typically, but I don't think that's going to work against Tagir, where Durden is going to want to shoot takedowns, and against a guy like Tagir, I just don't think that's going to work. And I think that's where he could get caught, get a little cocky, and Tagir takes advantage. And that's where I do give Tagir enough of an edge where I would pick. I'm going to pick him, but I don't have a bet on this one. This is another one I'm staying away, just like the heavyweight bout 2 fights ago. I just don't feel a strong inclination one way or the other. I see this going a lot of different ways. I am polar opposite of the fight we previewed 2 fights ago. I'm very, very excited to watch this one and hope that Tagir does not withdraw, and hope that we get to, I mean, we're going to air the video no matter what, but but that the video actually gets some run because of how exciting of a fight this is. So you're going with Durden. I'm going with Tagir. You do not have a bet on this one, correct?
I've got Durden for a half unit at plus 145. To your point, though, I mean, I do think that there is definitely room for a submission from Ulanbekov. Durden loves to go for double legs, get caught in a guillotine. It would not surprise me a bit if Ulanbekov got a guillotine in this fight. If there's a specific way to bet exact guillotine, I would. That's how I think he gets it done. But I'll take Durden just straight up on the money line to be able to outlast him throughout the fight.
All right, Rick is going with Durden as the pick and the play. I am going with Tagir as my pick, but no play from a betting sense. And we are going to head into the next one, which is a light heavyweight bout between Alonzo Menifield and Dustin Jacoby. Stay with us.